the wife is bad enough to Oliver to actually leave a note after she goes to tell him that he's not the father of the child. But Oliver, having a heart the size of the planet, doesn't let that stop him from treating the child as if she was his own. Hey guys, welcome along to a new Laurel and Hardy review. We've moved on to another DVD in this box set, and I'm just trying to look at the cover here when I'm doing this video. This one's called the Bohemian Girl, but normally in the DVDs in this box set, it's usually you've got a feature, then you've got related shorts, and below it, and there's usually a theme. Have you seen the last few videos in this series? There was a feature and a lot of shorts all based on blackmail, but I'm looking here, it doesn't say it on the front cover. Right, we'll get into it. This is the Bohemian Girl. It's a full-length feature film from 1936, and it's based on an opera by Michael W. Balfe, or Balfe, however you would say his surname. Stan and Ollie play gypsies in Europe as it was centuries ago. They're earning a living by picking pockets. When Mrs. Hardy disappears with her lover, they become guardians to a small girl who is really the daughter of an aristocrat. This is a musical with a good few song and dance routines on it, so if that's your thing, you're going to love this. There's an ingenious routine where Stan uses a trick to pick a man's pocket while also telling his fortune. After pulling that off perfectly, Ollie decides he's going to try it for himself, screws it up epically, and gets a gun pulled on him. The man he's trying to pickpocket demands his things back, and as Ollie is returning them at gunpoint, Stanley finds a policeman. The policeman, thinking Ollie is the one who's being robbed, actually ends up helping them mug this poor guy, and then he drags him off to jail. There's some great routines of Stan and Ollie trying to one-up each other and splitting up the money they've stolen. You actually need to watch the film just for that. The genius of these two guys' comedy is the way they deliver it. Simply telling you, it just doesn't do it justice. While all this has been happening, another member of the gypsies has been caught trying to sneak in to an aristocrat's house to steal stuff. He's been chained up, flogged, thrown out by the count's men, and this guy is the guy that Oliver's wife will run away with later in the film. Next morning, gypsies have been told to move on before more people are flogged by the guards. As they're leaving, the gypsy who got flogged sees a chance to kidnap the count's daughter as revenge. The comedy from Stan and Ollie keeps coming, which is a great parallel to the persecution of the gypsies. Persecution of the gypsies and the kidnapping of this girl. You know, the comedy of Laurel and Hardy just is a nice parallel to it. As they're grooming a horse, Stanley, instead of putting one of the horse's feet in a bucket to wash them, puts one of Ollie's, and instead Ollie's retaliation is brilliant. Ollie's wife passes off the child to Ollie, saying that the kid's theirs, and Ollie asks, well, why didn't you tell me before? And the wife replies, well, I didn't want to tell her who your father was until she was old enough to stand the shock. You know, that explanation's enough for Oliver. Ollie's wife, lover, decide to run away together, leave Stan and Ollie with the child, who they've got no idea has been kidnapped at this stage. But the wife is bad enough to Oliver to actually leave a note after she goes to tell him that he's not the father of the child. But Oliver, having a heart the size of the planet, doesn't let that stop him from treating the child as if she was his own. So from here we cut to 12 years later, and the gypsies again end up camping in the woods of Count Arnheim, I should have said his name was, the father of this young girl. The child has grown into a beautiful young woman, Stan and Ollie, have given her the whole of the caravan, and they actually sleep outside now. And again, that's one thing me describing this, but it's actually beautiful the way the film shows the love and sacrifices Stan and Ollie have made to make her happy. There's a brilliant solo routine from Stanley, who decides to bottle some home brew from a barrel and a lot of bottles. All he's got is a hose, so he better suck through get the suction going, and tries to fill the bottles, but he can't keep up. So between every bottle that he's trying to fill, he puts the hose on his mouth, and he ends up drinking more home brew than he actually bottles. Gets completely blazing. We cut the heartbroken count. He's in the house singing of the loss of his daughter, but the now grown daughter is actually out exploring. She ends up on the property, his property. The guards capture her, throw her in the dungeon. The heartbroken count orders her to be left there till he gets a chance to personally witness her flogging, not knowing that it's his long lost child. Stan and Ollie find out she's been locked up. They go and try to rescue her. Remember, Ollie knows he isn't her father, but he also doesn't know that the Count is her father. There's a great moment between Stan and Ollie and the head of the guard, played by James Finlayson. Brilliant, just the three of them getting together and the comedy that happens, absolutely fantastic in these films. There's a great sequence where drunk Stanley takes on the whole of the guards with a whip. Try to tie them up and whip them. Stanley gets it, and he tries to whip them. That's great. Eventually, Stan and Ollie, they're captured, sent to the torture chamber, and the girl's tied up for her flogging. As they're about to start, the Count finds a locket on the girl's possession that he had given to the child the day she disappeared. So the penalty finally drops. This is my daughter. There's an incredible sequence in the torture chamber where Ollie's been stretched on the rack while Stanley has been put on the device designed to crush. The girl begs the father to show mercy to Stan and Ollie as they helped her, kept her safe all the years, so the Count orders their release. But by this stage, they've already been put through the torture. The end sequence to this film really needs to be seen to be believed. Obviously Ollie's been stretched, Stanley's been crushed, so you actually get to physically see the result to that. Hilarious. This film, get into it. And don't get me wrong, I like musicals. I know a lot of people I know are probably going to give me abuse for saying that online, but I don't care. Some musicals are fantastic. But when it comes to Laurel and Hardy, wasn't sure about a musical from these guys. They've done quite a few in their career, but the Bohemian Girl, till this viewing, wasn't one that I'd actually seen 100%. Seen a lot of highlight clips over the years and different specials of them. A lot of stuff out of this film has been in it. Some classic moments. But, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's definitely worth checking out. There's a few dark moments in it with persecution towards the gypsies in it, and the girl getting kidnapped, the mental abuse that Oliver takes from his wife. For a Laurel and Hardy movie, there's some dark pieces in there, but the comedy more than makes up for it. And there's a part when we cut to the 12 years later, Oliver and Stanley sleeping outside, as I was saying. The girl calls them in for their breakfast, and of course it's a musical, so she breaks out on the song at this part. And for two guys that were known worldwide for being slapstick clowns mainly, there's a sequence here with her singing and the way Oliver looks at her, and in the film at this point 12 years has passed. since he found out that he wasn't the biological father to this girl, and the look of love and compassion Oliver has for this girl in this film is beautiful. It's breathtaking. You know, far better actors than I think they were ever given credit for. So, yes, definitely go and check this out.